Hi everyone, I just wanted to do an updated video about what's happening right now in court regarding my son and all the stuff that I go through. So as you're aware, and if you're not aware, just you know that there's a in-person court hearing scheduled for um, December 3rd of 2025. Currently in person, it's for gonna be a long motion at 361 University Avenue, which is the Superior Court for Family Branch. So right now I served all my documents with all the parties on October 24th, 2025, which was about a week ago, and I submitted my documents with the courts right away. Now I'm having a lot of issues with the submitting my documents. My documents are being improperly rejected, and I'm being asked to commission my files, notarize my documents again and again, and I'm not really sure why. So what happened was that this is going to be a long motion, so I had to file a few different documents. So I filed my notice of motion, my draft order, factum, and on the first serving, I made an compendium, which included, basically it's like a motion record basically, so I included my 14A affidavit in there also. And then I was like, you know what, I have had a lot of issues with the court, so later on in the day I reserved all the documents again, but this time with not the compendium, but I only included the affidavit and the exhibits and stuff. So I filed my document. I served both documents. So the documents that was served with the compendium was served earlier in the afternoon, around like 1 o'clock, 1:08 p.m. on the 24th of October, and then the one that only included the affidavit that was served later on in the day at around like 4:05 p.m. in the afternoon. So so basically, I served the documents twice. But they were both served on the same day. They were both notarized on the same day. The affidavit of service, there's two affidavit of service. One was made for 1:08 p.m. The other one was made for 4:05 p.m. And I included two separate emails for two different affidavit of service for two different service of documents. But for some reason, the court right now is not accepting my documents today. I told them that this is going to be a long motion, so the compendium I think, should be in there, because it does include the like a table of contents, so that the judge can kind of review, go to all the exhibits and all the documents and stuff. But the affidavit is also pretty similar. It also includes all the exhibits, just not the front page. The 14A, which is for the family court form, has like boxes and stuff in it, so it's not like freestyle like any other court. So anyway, so I filed the 14A, and I told them that that it may be easier, but they said no, like just don't file the compendium, just file the 14A affidavit. So I refiled my 14A affidavit again, and I changed the affidavit of service, because the first submission that was there, that had the 108 affidavit of service, and then when they said that we cannot accept the compendium, then I refiled the documents again, only with the 14A affidavit that was served later on in the day, and I changed the affidavit of service to the 4:05 p.m. affidavit of service. But they're still rejecting my documents. They're saying, no, we want you to recommission the documents again and refile it again. I'm like, why? Why do I have to recommission my document again? Because this is obviously a scam. If you're asking me to recommission the exact same documents and refile it with the court and serve it again. Like, it's an abuse of process. Like, why do I have to do that? Because the compendium and the 14A affidavit, they were both created separately, they were notarized separately, they were served separately. Then why do I have to recommission the documents again? It's an abusive process. So so they rejected my documents like 4 or 5 times today, and I got frustrated, and then I emailed the court. I'm like, I don't understand, like, why are you rejecting it? And they're like, okay, well, you did the affidavit again, so you have to recommission the affidavit. I'm like, yeah, I did recommission the affidavit, which was served on October 24th, and I refiled it on October 24th. And as you can see, the affidavit was served later on in the day at 4 or 5 p.m. and this is the affidavit of service for later on in the day. So I'm still waiting for the court. Then I resubmitted the documents again, and I'm still waiting for the court. So it has been extremely stressful, and it's just it's unfair that a person, when somebody makes an error and then puts a person through unnecessary harassment and stress, that has to deal with it. And that being said, like, I really should warn other girls that may ever get involved with my ex-husband. I mean, if you can get him off my life and my son's life, I'm gonna be very, very thankful. But at the same time, I really should warn everybody that he will make your life like freaking miserable if things don't work out. Like, he will drag you through court, put you through like extreme serious stress, like pretty much bankrupt you, like abuse the whole process, and destroy your life. So you have to be very careful. Like I'm never gonna get back with this guy ever again. But anybody that wants to take him, please, like, get him off my life and my son's life. Keep him busy somewhere else so he doesn't bother us. But if you're gonna get involved with this guy, like, you really, really, really need to be careful about your finances, your home, your family's properties, your bank account, because he's gonna like manipulate the system and the government to try to like take everything away from you. So you have to be very, very, very careful about getting involved with like somebody like my ex-husband. So just to be cleared, honestly, I should actually try to say good things so that somebody kind of takes him from off our life so that he can be busy somewhere else. If somebody is single, please do that. But to be honest, like, if you do get involved with this person, like, I would be extremely, extremely worried about your bank account, your credit cards, any properties that you may have. Like, you have to be extremely, extremely careful of all of that how will all of that work out. So just be a warning. I don't know how this is gonna work out for my son, and that this guy has an extreme tendency of finding naive, innocent people and getting them trapped into, like, get them involved into serious things, crimes, and illegal activities, while these people may not even know what they're getting themselves into. Like, my son, who's right now 13 years old, he doesn't know any, like, all that much law and stuff. I mean, any law whatsoever at all. For him, little things may look fun and interesting, that may be like illegal, and it may look that it's not harmful, but he, just like that, he will get girls and people that around him involved in like serious things that will later on come back and haunt you. And you have to be very careful with this guy, with your monies and belongings and your family's finances and money and stuff, because you won't know what he's gonna get yourself into. So that being said, there's not really that much going on right now. It is, I think, day 48 or 49, something like that, since I've been outside my home. and it's starting to get back at me right now. It's very stressful, dealing with court stuff. It's not fun, especially when your documents are improperly being rejected, and the outcome is that you may not get your son back, and then they're asking you to pay other people improperly while rejecting. Like, for them this is a joke and a fun, and which is a serious concern of, like, mental stability. But I know I filed my documents properly. I filed my compendium along with all other documents at 1:08 p.m. on October 24th. And then I filed without the compendium affidavit of service, notice of motion, draft order, and factum on the same day on October 24th at 4:05 p.m. So all of these documents were served twice with the opposing party. Just the only difference was one of them included the compendium, which had the table of content and everything, and the other one only had the affidavit, the 14A form. So if any judge is going to be reviewing any of these videos later on in the future, and I'm being framed for not filing documents properly and stuff, you should be aware that I've done all of these things on properly. I've done it both ways. I've done it within the time frame on October 24, 2025. My deadline for filing documents are November 3rd of 2025. So I filed my documents like way ahead of time. And I cannot take responsibility of the actions of other people and court. And to be honest, this is why I do not like going to court. It's nothing personal against any specific person, or gender, religion, background, racial background, or anything like that. It's just, I just believe that some of these people are bullies, and they're very, their actions are sort of like harassing. And to be honest, asking somebody to recommission the documents again, that is an act of fraud. So all of these needs to be considered very, very carefully. And yeah, so just I'm gonna try to, hopefully these people will file the documents properly tomorrow. I'm not really sure what's gonna happen. Maybe I'll make another video about what's happening and then go from there. And yeah, just be aware of people like my ex-husband as well as my ex-husband, that do not trust this person whatsoever at all. If he's ever even like small things, like if he's ever been like, oh yeah, driving without a seatbelt would be fun, right? And then he's like all your buddy and everything, but if there's ever any trouble, if there's a police comes, he's gonna throw you under the bus and run the other way, or he's gonna be the one to tell on you to the police or complain. Well, so he's not somebody that you should be trusting, that he's not the kind of person that will have your back ever. So you have to be very careful. Right now I'm really worried about how this is gonna impact our future. How if he's going to be able to take care of my son, given the fact that he has a criminal history of drug trafficking. And I'm not really sure what kind of people that he communicates with, and how this will impact my son's future. The kind of people that he may be involved in or friends with, or the people that may come in and out of his home. I'm not really sure how this will impact my son's future, his education, his reputation. I'm not really sure. I'm being the only child of my parents, my son being my only son. I'm not really sure what will happen to my parents' homes in the future. I'm not sure if my ex-husband intends to be single for the rest of his life, but I'm gonna be very worried about any woman that does get involved with him, because at this point it may just look like that he's trying to come after my family's homes, my properties, and my son and stuff. But can you imagine if you get involved and start a family with this person? He will do the exact same thing with you. So I would be very, very careful about being involved with this guy, and just try to avoid complications and with him, and that there's a possibility that he's gonna drag you through court and put you up with lots of people, knowing that they're abusive and harassing, and he will get you stuck with it, and that you will have no other choice to deal with that. And he's done that before, and he will, if he ever finds any woman, any girl that will ever have a home, money, or car, or any possibility of future, he will do the exact same thing with the next person again. So you should be very careful about what he does. So just be careful. So in terms of what happens with my court filing and stuff that I've been waiting for 1 week to be filed now, and I have filed everything properly, they keep on improperly rejecting my documents. So I'll make another video once everything is accepted, and I'll let everybody know what's happening, and we'll go from there. So for now, keeping my fingers crossed that this stress does not cause even more permanent emotional harm into my life. But there's nothing really that I can do at this point. So fingers crossed, and I'll keep everybody informed. Bye, and happy Halloween.